Mohammed, it's Bree with Northland Marketing here, and as promised, I just wanted to go ahead and record this quick video for you to kind of go over what I see with your site, what I see with the competition doing, and how we can help you to beat them out. So starting with your website here, like we talked about on the phone, there's no navigation menu. There really should be, a navigation menu that says home, services, about us, contact us. You should have a service page for each one of your services. So for deck washing, deck power washing, patio power washing, roof power washing, house power washing, etc. You're going to want a page for each one of those. It's also going to be the best way to try and rank for Google is to have an individual page so that Google and people know that you do those services. That aside, we're scrolling down. There also should be a call to action right away. There should be a phone number or a get quote button, and there isn't any immediate call to action. Okay, moving down a little bit about what you guys do. But even then, I had questions, right? I wasn't exactly sure if you did gutter cleaning or gutter repair or kind of what was going on here. And then you have a gallery, which is great. I think some of these photos are awesome. And then we have the call to action. So there's kind of a lot of scrolling to get to this call to action. Hours, and that's kind of it. That's really all there is to not just the homepage, but to the entire site, which it's a very small site. So for people, you're going to want to have some more things on here. You want testimonials, you want a very clear services section, you want somewhere where people can click learn more and they can read more about each individual service. The photos are great, but we kind of need more than just that. With that being said, from an SEO point of view, so like for Google, you want to have about 1,500 words on just your home page. And this is for two reasons. The first reason being is that Google has these crawlers and they come through and they read the content. They're trying to figure out what areas you serve, what services you offer. The more content you have on, more helpful content you have on here, the more you're going to be an expert in Google's eyes. In addition to that, we want keywords. And keywords are things that people would be searching for. So for example, if someone was Googling power washing Suffield CT and you had power washing Suffield CT on your website, you're going to be really relevant for that search, and Google's going to be willing to put you higher up at the top. So we don't have a lot of content on here, and we don't have keywords within the content, which are another two big things that we really want to get on there. And for those reasons, at least those are the main reasons, I would definitely recommend just rebuilding this because it is only one page anyway. Now, if we did a Google search for power washing Suffield CT, the first thing that shows up is the Google ad that I was talking about. So this is a Google ad called a Google Guaranteed ad. They're also referred to as Google Local Service ads. Same thing, referring to the same thing. It looks like they may not have a category for power washing, but they have one for window cleaners, which is showing up, and this person does gutter cleaning, this one's power washing. So there's services you can usually turn on and off underneath the category, so I'm sure there probably is a power washing category under here, which is good to know, but it's good to know that other people are running it under window cleaners. So this, I would definitely recommend running these ads. This is what we were talking about on the phone. Underneath that is the Google business profile. We can see this particular one here, A to Z power washing. It says sponsored. This is a pay-per-click or pay-per-view Google ad, so just ignore that one. You are showing up first on my computer. It may be a little skewed because I was just looking at your website in great detail, so they may think that I want to see your stuff and put you higher up at the top, but you said you were seeing yourself in second as well, so you're probably bouncing around the top 3, which is great. If we look at the other two people here, I do notice they each have more reviews. This one has 105. You're doing great with up to 50 reviews. I would just continue doing what you're doing and try to surpass this 105 guy. I won't go into too much detail about how to get yourself ranking better here since you're already here. I will mention doing an address change can and most likely will drop you down. If you're staying in Suffield, it may be okay, but if you're leaving Suffield, you may entirely drop out of the top 3. I mean, you definitely will drop out of the top 3 for Suffield, and it's not like it's just going to transfer over to the next town. You have to kind of like start ranking in that area again. So just be aware that changing addresses can definitely affect this, especially if you don't prepare for it. We usually do quite a bit of work updating everything online before moving this. Moving on, underneath the Google business profiles are what's called the organics. These are the websites that are ranking. The first one showing up is the Wash Doctors, and it says they're in Suffield. So let's take a look at their website. So you can see right away they've got pages. They actually have a ton of pages up here. This is a little bit complicated in my opinion, kind of like you were talking about. This is probably a few too many things up here. I would probably just have services and have all of their services in this one drop down rather than trying to put them all up here. You can see right away they have a call to action, their phone number, they're open, and you can put your information in to request a quote, which is great right at the top. You can see their reviews and ratings right away. Why choose the Wash Doctor? So a little bit about them, and then it goes right into their services. And like I was talking about, you can click learn more and go to a page to learn more about that service. Okay, here's their testimonials. Kind of like I was mentioning on your website as well, it'd be great to have testimonials. You have lots and lots of reviews. Those should really be on there. A video about them. It talks about their service area, which is great. And then that's the bottom of their site. So they've got some content on here, not enough though. If you had 1,500 words, you would be greatly beating the competition, which is the other part of our goal, right? We want to have more content than the competition. They do have a keyword right here, pressure washing contractor and CT. Not a ton of other keywords though, although they may have them on other pages. So let's talk about why they're ranking first. This is a paid program I use to research websites called Ahrefs, and I went ahead and put them into here so we could see what you would be up against. The next thing I want to go over is UR and DR ratings. These ratings are really important for where you fall within the Google search results. A UR rating is essentially a trust rating with Google, and a DR rating is essentially a power rating with Google. One of the main ways you can raise these numbers is by something called a backlink, and essentially all a backlink is just a shout out from another website. If there is another website that's endorsing you guys or them and says, hey, the Wash Doctors are the best ever, check them out, and they have a link back to their website, you know, they're giving them a shout out, that is a backlink. Okay, so what's cool is we can click on this number and go through all the websites that are endorsing them and see what ones are giving them a lot of power, and then attain those for your website as well. These numbers are relatively low, which is a good sign. That doesn't mean it's super competitive, at least for the Suffield area. If we look at your website's ratings, we can see 0 and 0. It seems like you have a lot of backlinks, so links that are going back to you, but because your numbers are 0, that's usually not a great sign. That could mean it's a little spammy. That could mean they're not very high power. You know, it's a little concerning that these numbers are both 0, and it looks like it at one point might have gone up to 8, but it's lost 8 points, which isn't great either. So we would definitely want to kind of get in here and see what's going on, and then help to raise these numbers and raise your website's power rating. Hopefully that helps and kind of explains what is important to Google and user performance. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much.